Yes, welcome, and good to have you. Let's kickstart this challenge in power and all hyped up. I know that there are so many things that we are going to talk about in this challenge, and some of these things are actually quite really frustrating. In some areas we feel stuck, in some areas we feel left behind, in some areas we feel we lack the clarity. But again, as we get unstuck, as we get the clarity, as we get to maneuver through this maze of relationships and marriages, I know that we are going to find a landing, and that landing is going to be in a much clearer place, in a place where you can make sober decisions, and in a place where you are self-aware and where you love yourself more, you take care of yourself more, you have more compassion towards yourself, and you know how to create boundaries. Okay, you will know how to create boundaries, you will know how to deal with people, and you will just know what chances to give and what not to give. Okay, so when we talk about narcissism and narcissistic tendencies, that is quite a long topic. But we're going to break it down, just like we said in these challenges. We're going to break it down, and we're going to talk about each corner on its own. And I want you to be able to just look in that mirror and be able to see what traits are you seeing that you can for sure say that this is what I am going through. And some of those questions will be actually answered all through this challenge. So I want us to move together. I don't want to leave you behind, and I just want us to get a proper understanding before we even go ahead. I want us to get just a proper understanding of what a narcissist is, because so many people have been asking, who is a narcissist? Who is a narcissist? Yes, we know he's this egocentric person, antagonistic, or this person that is so selfish, self-involved, a person that that lacks empathy, a person that does not give a damn, a person that does not mind, does not love the right way. And when we look at the power and control, that will, and I will post it at some point so that you can actually look at it. We look at violence, and we look at violence in both two ways. We look at it in the physical, and then we look at it in the sexual way. Now, when we look at the physical way, I want us to just go through very, very quickly that this is when someone uses threats, okay? And this is when someone actually uses coercion and not even persuading, but coercing you to do something, okay? They tell you, if you don't do this, then I will do this. And they do not remember, this person does not tell that to outsiders. It's only you that is in a relationship or marriage with them that will know some of these threats. And then some of these threats are going to be so huge to the point of threatening to even kill you, okay? So they tell you they will hurt you, they threaten to leave, okay, to commit suicide. Some of them, by the way, they even threaten to hurt themselves, that they will commit suicide. They will either report you to police, or they will, as in they bring a certain kind of threat into your life, and you just feel like, you are tensed up and you must do something because they really need you to do something. Now, some of us might not find ourselves in some of those predicaments, but there are other things that you will find yourself in and say, that is where I belong. Now let's use that. Let's go to using economic abuse. Now, when we talk about using economic abuse, here we are talking about preventing. And I want to say this before. I want to go on record saying this. So many of us sometimes think that it's only the men that are narcissistic. But actually, it's both ways. Though I will say this again, that 90% of men will be narcissistic, and maybe only 10% of women will be narcissistic. So it's the ratio is quite not balanced. Few women against few men, and that is why I usually say in this generation we have taught our men to be macho, to be strong, to be egocentric, to be selfish, and guess what? We have rewarded it. Okay, when someone is even at a workplace and they are ruthless, they are very aggressive, they earn more money, they get more praises, so they feel, I have to step on people in order to get to where I am. I have threatened, I have to to hide information, I have to coerce, I have to push people. So this has been really, really supported from our homes, from our workplaces, and into relationships and into marriages. And that is why it's becoming so hard. It's a problem of our time, okay? okay? And I don't want you to feel like you are the only one that is going through it. And so many people, even the smartest people, don't know what they can do with narcissists or narcissism, okay? So we will look at that. When we talk about narcissism, we are really talking about patterns. We are talking about patterns, and some people usually say, but narcissists are not predictable. But in my life, in my heart, I'm like, you know what? The most predictable sect of people is actually the narcissists. They're very, very predictable, because today they are sweet, tomorrow they are egocentric, tomorrow they are violent, and tomorrow they are love bombing you. Okay, so you just don't know what you're walking on eggshells. It's like a child. You don't know, is my mother going to come back angry, or is my mother going to come back happy? So we live in that not pleasant place at all. So when we talk about using economic abuse, remember we're going through the power and control, because this is what a narcissist loves doing, the power and control. They love to dominate, and they love to show you that once they live your life, then you're going to be nothing, you're going to crash, you cannot stay on your own, you cannot live on your own, you are nothing without them. So you second guess yourself, okay? So we're still looking at the physical side, okay? And when we talk about the physical side, we're talking about like preventing you from getting to work, or getting work or a job to do, because so many people that I have met have actually told me that a narcissist in their lives refused them and said you don't have to work, whether it's a husband, whether it's, as in they just want to have control so that you will look to them for everything and literally become a beggar. So you make her, and I will use these examples on the side of the woman, so do not be offended if you're a gentleman. It says that making her ask for money, like you really have to beg for it, and giving her an allowance, but sometimes not even giving to her, you give it to according, or they give it to them according to how they feel, okay? Taking her money, if a narcissist is the one that knows that you're the one with the money, then they will take all your money. They will give you deals and tell you, oh, there's this car, or there's this land, or in a bid to take all the money from you so that you will remain with zero. And just in case you will want to walk away from them, then you should start from hell. You should start from scratch. So if you are the kind, and these days, they say this, narcissists are targeting people, or most women that have money, and even women that are narcissistic are targeting men that have money, and so they would want to take everything from you so that you don't have the audacity of saying, you know what, walk away from my life, okay? And then not letting her know about or access the family income, or know what is happening with your income. Remember, I said this can fall on both sides, either the women or the guys. So this person is actually in the blind. They are in a family. If you're married to one, or if you're in a relationship with one, then you just don't know what's happening. You're in the dark all the time. You don't know how much money he earns, or how much money she earns, and she wants all the money from you, and then she's threatening all these things. Let's go to using male privilege, especially on the male side, treating her like a servant, okay? Like I've had so many people where a man tells the wife, I mean, you're even not even a maid is more useful than you, okay? So this person actually wants you to be like a servant, to literally worship at their feet, making all the big decisions. Like there's so many women that have told me that my man, I mean, he decides where the children go to school, he decides which land we buy, he decides what kind of house we build, what kind of car we drive, he literally decides everything, even the food that we eat, okay? And then acting like the master of the castle, you know, like they are the big ones and you are the small one, you are the carpet, you're supposed to be stepped on, being the one that defines men's and women's roles, okay? Because then some of them will tell you, but women don't do that. How many women do? I mean, if you ask your friends, maybe you're not informed, ask them and find out what women do for their men. So in a bid to get you to lower your standard and be able to do what they want you to do, actually, and sometimes and most times it's actually not a good thing. Okay, so let's look at using children, making her feel guilty about the children. Have you ever seen, and I think you've had friends, if you're not the one dating a narcissist or married to one, then you know a friend or a sister or a brother that is married to a narcissist. And sometimes they will use children, okay, to guilt trip you. They will even tell you that, you know what, you're not a good mother, or you're not, maybe a child got sick, you don't have money, you didn't take them to a hospital, you just bought some meds, and then you're just not thoughtful, you're not a good mother. I wonder why God even gave you those children. But remember, this person is your spouse, or this person is actually a living spouse with you, or a fiancé or something like that. Using the children to relay messages, okay? Most of the narcissistic people will actually discuss your issues with children. They will tell them how your mother is bad, or how your father is stupid, or how you, like, they will paint a very bad picture in front of the children, using visitation to harass her and threatening to take away the children. I know of so many narcissists that have threatened, and most especially when it comes to the men, you know, they will tell you, if you don't do this, or if you decide to go away, you don't go away with my children, you leave my children with me. So I mean, the women become so agitated, they become so irritated, they become so frustrated because they cannot leave the children, because they think this person is not actually well enough to take care of these children, but this person is holding on and threatening to stay with the children just in case this person wants to go. So it's a way of wanting you to stay but not loving you, actually. And this has happened so many times when it comes to narcissists. They will want you to stay, but they will never want to love you the right way, which is really, really so sad. Let's go to the sexual side, okay? And remember, we're going through the power and control, and we say that most of the toxic people, the narcissists really love to use power, and they love to dominate. Okay, so let's look at the using intimidation, making her afraid of using afraid by using looks, actions, and gestures. Okay, and then smashing things and destroying her property, abusing pets, displaying weapons. Okay, someone gets a knife, and for these people, this is what happens. For most of the people that have dated narcissists and have married narcissists, most of the times when they do some of these stunts, like pulling out a knife and, you know, pulling out something to hit you, when you have a family meeting to talk about some of these things, then they become the sweetest person, and then they will deny like it never happened, and then you will look so crazy before everyone, and then he will even confirm she's crazy, she even doesn't know what she's talking about. She will even tell your family to take you to a psychiatrist, because they'll be like, she's about to go mad. I don't know where she's getting. She cooks up words, she does this, and then you're like, you know what? Am I actually in my right senses? Did I mean, I saw this thing. It happened. He pulled a knife on me, and he's busy sweet talking, and everyone around will actually praise them and even accept their explanation, and you will look the mad one. Actually, some of the people that have dated narcissists and married narcissists have been taken to mental hospitals because of depression, because of second guessing, because of being gaslighting, they've been gaslighted, or because they just didn't understand what was happening, and so many people are in that predicament. So you know, some of these people, I mean, you buy a TV, and then they say, where did you get the money from? Or because you think you bought something in this house, and then they go ahead and destroy it, and you're like, really? Is that what you should have done? So some of those intimidation tactics, they actually use them. And then using emotional abuse. Okay, let's look briefly at the emotional abuse. Putting you down, like there's one who mentioned, you know, someone describes your body and how it looks like. Well, you know, everyone has either body part that they're not proud of, or they just don't like, and maybe someone uses that, whether it's your nose, whether it's your cheeks, whether it's your what, someone just uses a part of you to put you down, making you feel bad about yourself, calling you names. Okay, she's stupid, she didn't go to school, I think she's a school dropout, you know, all those things. And most of the times I feel so sad when some of these ladies call me and they're like, and then he insulted me, and I'm like, okay, what kind of insults? And the insults will always be huge. They will always be huge, things that you cannot even take through your mouth. Okay, making you think you are crazy. Okay, playing mind games, humiliating you, and making you feel guilty about something. They can even make you feel guilty about bringing up something, and you will feel they will turn tables on you, and then they will will blame you until you feel like, you know what, why did I even bring it up? Why did I even want to talk about this? And then you will die in your own movie. Let's talk about isolation. Okay, controlling what that person, what you do as a person. This person, most of the narcissists, they want to control what you do, okay, and who you actually talk to, they want to control that. And then what you read, they also want to control that, okay, and where you go, they want to control that. So they want to limit you from outside involvement, okay, and using jealousy to justify that. You know, when you meet so and so, you know, I feel there's something going on between you, and so I know. And then they will go about it for on and on and on and on, and they will tell everyone that cares to listen. And one common trait I have seen about narcissists is gossip. They love gossiping, and for them, they don't think they are gossiping. For them, they actually think they are helping. So they go telling, I really don't know what to do about my wife, I don't know what to do about my girlfriend, or I don't know what to do about my husband. I mean, he's really running mad, and he's just, why? Because you stood up against him, or you said something that he didn't expect that you will stand up for yourself, or you went ahead and read something that he didn't want you to read, or you worked with someone that he didn't want you to work with. All those things will be tactics. Let's talk about minimizing, denying, and blaming. Making light of the abuse and not taking her concerns about it seriously. For example, you tell someone that, you know what, when you say that, it really made me feel bad, and then this is what they'll say, but you're too sensitive, you know, for you hold on to every word that has been said. So they are justifying that by calling you stupid, it was okay, you don't have to complain about it, okay. So they minimize, okay, the abuse that they did and the concerns that you put out, okay. So everything you say falls on a deaf ear. So you know that actually they're not going to do anything about it, because the next time they're going to still abuse you, attack you from the angle of the same body part that you don't want them to mention, or about the same story that you didn't want them to say, or they will find something just to provoke you and to trigger you, okay. And then saying the abuse didn't happen, they have a way of denying and say, I didn't say that word is too huge, I actually didn't say it. This is when you either bring them to a family meeting, or you're with your sister, your brother, or someone that they respect. They will say, I never said that, I don't know where she got it from, let her bring evidence. But in that moment, you could not even record what they said. And sometimes you just feel like it just makes you tired, okay. And then shifting responsibility for abuse behavior and saying that you actually caused it. Have you ever seen people who say that, you know, I cheated because of this, and then they justify their cheating by throwing you under the bus and just turning tables on you and saying that they did it because you actually provoked the action. That is not what a sensitive, sweet, kind person does. That is a total egocentric, selfish narcissist that does those things. And now that you know, if you can find yourself, I will post it, remember, if you can find yourself anywhere and know that, okay, this is where I fall and this is what I am going through, then you will know how to actually get the help that you need. I know that there's so many people that have asked me the question of can a narcissist change? Okay, and I know that we will answer that as we go. But just like I said, narcissistic personality is really a disorder, and a disorder is a disorder. But when it comes to narcissism, it's about patterns, and these patterns are very predictable. Okay, and I said it's the topic of our day, and I said that it's actually destroying people, and people don't understand it. They have failed to read the signs. And why they have failed to read the signs is because they are emotionally involved with these people. So it's so hard for them to tear away, because they are in love. Most of the times they are in love. Empaths, or people that are compassionate, or people that are kind, they will always be the sweet, loving, giving people, okay. And sometimes it's very hard for them to stop, because just like it's so easy for a narcissist to be egocentric, egocentric and selfish. So it's and very hard to be kind and sweet. So it's so hard for an empath to actually be egocentric and selfish. So they find themselves at the giving side, so they forgive more, they give so many second chances, and guess what? These people actually never turn around, or they never change. And I say that we actually empower these people, we reward them, because then we have said, even in our working places, if you're ruthless, if you're aggressive, if you don't care about people, if you step on them, if you abuse them, if you insult them, then you are the one that is earning a lot more money, okay? And that is not the right way it should be. It should be done. So the opposites of being a narcissist is being agreeable, being kind. We have talked about those, and I just want us to just know the differences, so that as we go on into this challenge, we will know what is toxic, what is not toxic, what are those patterns, and how do you know that you're dating one or you're married to one, and how do you, because so many people have told me that, Bahati, if I had not consulted with you, I would have stayed in the same marriage, or I would have stayed in the same relationship, in the same kind of way how it was, and maybe I would have gone to an early grave. But thanks to you, I was actually able to see it for what it is. And actually, for so many people don't know why I wrote Deliberately Selfish. Deliberately Selfish was an answer to the so many questions that I was facing in my private practice, because so many people, and people don't contact me for for other things. Yes, they will consult me about mentorship, about what, but they mainly consult me about relationships and toxic relationships. And because they find comfort in me, because I call a spade a spade. And before we even begin a session, I will tell you, if you came here to be sweet talked and to be pampered, I'm not that kind. I am going to call a spade a spade. And if you're the one in wrong, I will tell you that what you're doing is not actually right. And I will not hesitate, okay? So I have seen Deliberately Selfish was an answer to so many questions, because people had forgotten about themselves. And what they had done was give, because I am that kind of person. I am an empath. I am very considerate, very understanding, very sweet, very kind. For those that know me, I know for so many people that don't know me, think I'm very, unapproachable, and I'm tough, and I know I can't give you a time of my day. But ask my clients, some of them have walked in and they're like, you know what, you've given us time no one has ever given to us. But why? Because they are going through something and they need a response, they need a solution, and we go through the solutions together. And because of this background, I have done an extensive research when it comes to narcissism, and the things that I have found are things worth sharing, and that is why we have this challenge, okay? That is why we're going to go through it. So when you look at agreeable, kind, sweet, and then you look at the other side, egocentric, antagonistic, all the bad things, all the other side, and then we just have to value, for those of you that are parents and planning to give birth, we just have to value empathy, because we're in a world that does not value empathy at all. And we are raising boys, mostly boys, to be these macho men and people that are egocentric and selfish, which is not right, because again, it's not going to make the world a better place. So I want you to find out, who was your first narcissist? Because when you talk about narcissists and we limit it from the area of relationships and marriage, then we are not opening it up enough, because we have bosses that are narcissistic, we have sisters that are narcissistic, and sometimes it could be your brother-in-law that is narcissistic. We deal with all these people, and sometimes when you deal with a narcissist, now the hardest paper is dealing with a narcissist when you're already an adult, because then you just bump into something that is so hard and you are not prepared for it. But again, remember, we have mothers who are narcissistic, we have fathers who are narcissistic. So the people that have grown in narcissistic places, like from day one you were born and your mother is a narcissist, you know her tricks, you know what she does. But when you bump into one when you're 30, when you're 25, when you're just getting into the dating arena or marriage arena, then it becomes so hard, because then how do you deal with this whole thing? That is why people give second chances, and they live in marriages for 20 years, hoping that their partner will change, and after 20 years. We have people coming out of marriages at 45 and 50 after failing, and they say, you know what, I've given him enough chances, but I don't think he will change. I've given her enough chances, but I don't think she will change. And then they are opting out and at an old age, which is not right. So it's better we actually know the truth, because the truth, you know, actually sets you free. Okay, so people are frustrated, but again, we can be able to manage this. If you ask me, can a narcissist change? If a narcissist goes either watches some of these videos and they are willing to change, it becomes so hard, because just like it is to make a sweet, nice person, to flip them and you turn them into an egocentric and selfish person, so it's very hard to flip the person from being egocentric and selfish and self-involved and you know, come to the side of sweetness. It's a worth journey, because I have taken that journey with so many people, but it's a very it's an uphill climb. It's an uphill task. It's not an easy one, but again, at least you can change. You can get the comfort of seeing a few changes in someone, and they must really be willing to see to see a therapist and work on a long term. It cannot be a short term. It cannot be a 1 session or 2 sessions. Okay, so I want you to be able to go through the things that you have gone through as a person. I want you to share your life experience. I want you to share it with me, and then so that we can be able to categorize some of the things that we are going to be talking about, so that we can be able to touch on those areas, all those areas. Okay, and I love you so much. Welcome to this challenge, and let's get started. Let's settle in and let's watch the videos. Let's read the articles, and let's invite people to actually take this personal discovery journey together with us. I know that we are going to flourish, we are going to grow tremendously, and our lives are not going to be the same again. Okay, so I love you, and I'm waiting to hear from you. What is your experience, and where would you want help most, so that we can tailor make some of these experiences together, so that all your questions will be answered and you will walk out of this challenge a changed person. I mean, a zealous person, one that wants, you know, to make a world a better place, and one that wants to live a happy life for the rest of their lives. Okay, so from me to you, I love you, and let's meet tomorrow.